If you wanna read something strange, who you gonna call? Badly Annotated. My name is Jess,
My name is Hannah.
and this is the real episode 10 of the
Yeah.
Badly Annotated Reader Society. There was a brief haunting. It's hopefully past, and my laptop lives to see another day.
We kind of need your laptop. She needs to hang in there.
Oh, she do for at least another 7 weeks. But yeah, thank you all for bearing with us. We hope that you enjoyed last week's episode, and now you get, 2 book list episodes in a row? So for those of you that like those as much as I do, what a treat. Happy spooky season.
Yeah. The people really looking for recommendations.
Yeah.
We have so very many for you.
Oh my gosh. The list goes on and on and on and on.
And on and on and on.
Yeah, and then on just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how are you today? How are you this week? How's life?
I am good. I've been having some productive days. I spent the weekend with some family and like my cousins, and it was just a lot of fun. And now tomorrow I'm going to see the Dan and Phil show live.
Oh shit, I didn't know they were doing that live still.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing that still, period. But good for them. That's exciting.
They went on a 6-year hiatus. They both came out and then they were like, bye. And then
that makes more sense why I was lost.
Yeah, the only person making videos in that time was Phil alone on his own channel. He's just been chatting to us this whole time.
Go Phil.
Yeah, but Dan and Phil were not a thing for a long time, and then suddenly they came back.
Huh.
And I believe in one of the first videos, Dan, suddenly he just went, all right, we're back. We're gay. We're old. You're old. Let's get into it.
Yeah, basically, because I remember being very young when I was introduced to Dan and Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's so funny.
I was like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they have they're touring again with a new live show called Terrible Influence, where it's basically just like this whole show production about how they were a terrible influence.
Nice. Well, I hope you have a marvelous time.
Yeah, because Dan and Phil was like a guilty pleasure for me.
Oh yeah, it was a guilty pleasure for all of us.
Yeah, and now I'm just embracing it. Whatever.
You might as well. We're at that point.
Yep, they're old, I'm old. Yeah. We're all old, so it's okay.
Exactly. Once a group or whatever come back for a comeback, that's when you can listen to them unashamedly. You know, Backstreet Boys, any of them. If One Direction ever comes back, there's going to be so many like 30-year-old women at that point. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm going with the same cousins that I just spent the weekend with.
Nice.
So that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. So I just have like fun stuff to look forward to.
Yay.
So
I love that.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty all right. I've got a chill week this week before I've got a million midterms next week. I heard back about the beginning steps of an official assessment for my brain goblins. So that's really cool. And I've got a bag of gummy bears in front of me, which was originally for studying. So it's like a little reward system, but now I'm just munching.
Fair.
Yeah.
They're sitting there. You gotta.
Exactly.
You just gotta have a little snack. I was overjoyed today when I looked into my bag and realized that there was a bag of M&Ms in there that I forgot was in there.
Oh yeah, that is a vibe.
Yeah, sometimes being colossally forgetful
has its perks.
Yes, it gives you a little treat every once in a while.
Yeah, it's like a little gift from past you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because I don't remember why I bought them or when I put them in that bag, but they were there when I needed them.
Exactly. So magical.
M&Ms and gummy bears.
Perfect. Well, you know what season I like to eat M&Ms and gummy bears in?
What season, Jess?
Fall. And you know what else I like in the fall? Books. And that's why we're here today, to share our favorite books for the fall season, autumn, if you will, as well as a few that we hope to read this fall season.
Yep. Favorite fall reads, some spooky reads, I think.
Oh, yeah. Definitely
Yeah,
some
definitely.
spooky
If Jess
reads.
is involved, there's going to be spooky
There
reads.
is some real spooky reads.
It's October.
Yeah,
Halloween.
we're here and we are coming full throttle. Special shout out, first of all, to The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchison, because y'all know how near and dear that scary ass book is to me. And it's actually not on my list right now. It's more of a summer read. It's set in a garden, more of a spring summer. So, but it's got the scary vibes. So, got to get that in there. Honorable mention.
I don't think I have any honorable mentions.
Yeah, just because of the season, it doesn't fit with fall.
Oh, I see. But it's still scary, so you needed to say it.
It's a spring or summer scary. Yeah. So
I'm not familiar with any of the scaries because I don't like them. So I don't read them.
On that note, do you want to give us our first book?
Yeah. So I figure that we'll first go through the recommendations of ones that we've read before. And then after that, we'll get into our fall hopefuls. So, my first recommendation for a fall read is called Murder at Pirates Cove by Josh Lanyon, which is one of my favorite cozy mystery series. So, for these, I'm also going to just say right now, I'm just going to read to you the descriptions of the books from, I use Storygraph to track books and it has all of the book descriptions on it. I'm just going to read from that because there was no way I was going to write descriptions.
My descriptions are from Kindle, so.
Yeah. The first time that we tried to record this before it got cursed, I also felt like I got a little bit too spoilery, so I just need to keep myself in check.
It's a bit of a different approach for our book list, but we're going to see how it feels.
Yeah. So, for Murder at Pirates Cove, the description is Ellery Page, aspiring screenwriter, Scrabble champion, and guy with worse luck in the world when it comes to dating, is ready to make a change. So when he learns he's inherited both a failing bookstore and a falling down mansion in the quaint seaside village of Pirates Cove on Buck Island, Rhode Island, it's full steam ahead. Sure enough, the village is charming, its residents amusingly eccentric, and widowed police chief Jack Carson is decidedly yummy, though probably as straight as he is stern. However, the bookstore is failing, the mansion is falling down, and there's that little drawback of finding rival bookseller and head of the unwelcoming committee, Trevor Maples, dead during the annual Buccaneer Days celebration. Still, it could be worse, and once Police Chief Carson learns Trevor was killed with the cutlass hanging over the door of Ellery's bookstore, it is.
Oh?
Yeah, so we've got like a cozy little murder mystery of, newcomer to a small town, and then the rival bookseller of the town that was really awful to Ellery when he first moved in ends up dead in his bookstore, being killed by the cutlass from the bookstore. So it's like,
it sets it up.
Yeah, there's something fishy
pretty solidly.
Going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course nobody believes Ellery.
Why would they?
Because he's new and they don't know him.
Uh-huh.
And so he takes matters into his own hands to clear his name.
As one would.
Yeah, so that's a favorite of mine, and I don't even think that it's set in the fall. I'm pretty sure it's set in the summer, but it just gives such like autumnal spooky vibes, like small town, murder mystery.
I was imagining
cozy.
naked trees when you were saying that. So
yeah. I think at some point in the series enough time passes that it is in the fall. But I'm pretty sure this is like start of the summer. But the murder mystery vibes are there.
Yep.
And I also originally read this in the fall, and so it's just like near and dear to my heart for fall.
Makes a difference. Makes a difference when you read it.
Yeah, highly recommend. Also, just like cozy mysteries in general, I think are good like fall reads. Shout out Misfortune Mysteries by Jenna De Leon for the 19 millionth time on the show.
Perfect. And what was the name of that one again?
That one was Murder at Pirates Cove by Josh Lanyon.
Nice. Perfect. My next one was also one that was recommended to me as a classic gothic story. And so I actually purchased it, I believe, last year in September. And I was blessed with the perfect timing of reading it as all the leaves were just crunchy and just at that perfect crunch state.
The crunch.
Yeah. And I remember sitting in Jared's parents' backyard, and they have a tree that, like, let's go with the crunchy leaves, as well as like a different tree that's like the dangly kind. It's I don't know trees very well, but they've got two different trees. One was given the crunch, one was given the vibes, and I had this brand new book. It was just beautiful. There was pumpkins. It was great.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so this book is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So classic Gothic. And we know that for fact because we Googled when the Gothic period is. And this was published in 1847, and it was like late 1700s to like end of 18, I think.
It was a post-Gothic era for sure.
Yeah. So the synopsis is: the narrative tells the tale of the all-encompassing and passionate, yet thwarted, love between Heathcliff and Catherine Earnshaw, and how this unresolved passion eventually destroys them and many around them. It's a very
short and
short
sweet.
summary. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also just a paragraph about like the book and when it was published, just saying that it's Emily Bronte's only novel, originally published in 1847 under the pseudonym Ellis Bell.
Oh yeah, they all had pseudonyms that were men with the same initials.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Genius.
Yeah, it also just says that the name is after the building in the book, which, like, obviously they all were. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just like reminds me, like I miss being in an era where people would name their homes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying the summary doesn't need to tell me that the book is named after the building because that's kind of explained when you read the book. Like I don't need the summary to have understood that. Like I'm not reading this and going, "Oh, you don't say." Oh. Those guys, they really got me. So like
that was
come
so
on.
Unexpected.
Like if I'm reading classics, I'm smart enough to figure that out.
Oh my gosh. That's like the main piece of advice I give to writers, like writer friends, because we swap our work and read them. The main piece of advice I always like scream at people is to respect the intelligence of your readers, please.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel reading that end sentence in that summary paragraph. Like crazy. Wuthering Heights is named after the building in the story named Wuthering Heights. Okay, thanks. Emily did not write that.
No. Okay. So this one was just because of the vibes.
Yeah,
when you
pure vibes. Absolutely. Like the book gave the fall vibes. I read it in the absolute perfect seasonal moment. All around, it's a fall book. And that is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't read that one yet. The only Bronte I've sort of read was Jane Eyre.
This was the first Bronte I read, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, people usually start with Jane Eyre, which is tragic.
Yeah, I started with Wuthering Heights, and I thought it was really interesting. I liked it. There's one part in it that, like, one of the characters hopes that another character haunts them, and it's like, word.
Like
that
bars.
Is some shit. Go off, my guy. He is simping for real.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering
Heights.
Awesome.
Heights. Well, I'm going to take it in a completely different direction. Honestly, that could be a drinking game if you're of age.
True.
Take a shot every time Hannah says, I'm going to take it in another direction. So I have a fantasy romance for you.
We're so surprised.
Oh my God, shocker.
Goblins at it again.
Yeah. This one's called That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. And the description, I believe this description was written by the author herself because it was originally self-published.
Are they not usually written by the author? No, I guess they might not be.
No, they're written by like whatever
I don't
publisher.
know why I just assumed that.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think this one was written by her because it was originally self-published and then has since been picked up by a publisher. Cool. But the book is in first person, which I don't usually love, but this book did it particularly well. And the reason I'm saying that is because the description is also in first person. So I'm just going to read it to you. So it says, all I wanted to do was live my life in peace. Maybe get a cat, expand my spice farm, really anything that doesn't involve going on a quest where an orc might rip my face off. But they say the goddess has favorites. If so, I'm clearly not one of them. I mean, I get it, don't get me wrong. But he's dragging me along for the ride, and I'm kind of peeved about it. On the bright side, he keeps burning off his shirt. After saving the demon Fallon in a wine-drunk stupor, all he wanted to do was kill an evil witch enslaving his people.
Wow.
And that's really all you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get into that, that's all the info you need to be like, hey, I'm on board.
Yeah.
It sets the tone.
She didn't have a choice. She sort of accidentally saved him, and then he was like, well, shit, now we gotta go save everyone else, all of my other people, because he is a demon. but we love him. We don't hold that against him.
Oh, right. For real.
It just, wow. Sometimes I say unhinged things and it doesn't occur to me until after they're already out of my mouth. If we don't hold it against him that he's a demon. No. This gave me like fall vibes. Again, I'm not sure if it's even set in fall.
I mean, it's hell. It's definitely not winter.
It's not hell.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the demon realm. It's definitely not winter.
It's not a demon realm either.
Oh my
God. It's a random fantasy small town.
Okay, well, it's a random fantasy small town. It's obviously not winter.
It's giving like cozy vibes, and like we open in this small town during like some kind of a festival. Cute. And the main character owns a spice farm and her name is Cinnamon. Everyone calls her Sin for short, and she's got this adorable family, and like she's got this best friend who's the daughter of a dairy farmer. Her name is Brie, like Brie cheese.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And so like there's Cinnamon and Brie, and
wow,
is in this, they're all named after what they do, and it's just like cute, fun, cozy vibes, and it's kind of crazy and things unfold very quickly. The romance is really good, and it's actually pretty well written, and the plot was good. I think I gave it like 4 stars or something like that. I really loved it, and it's just sort of like a fun, like cozy fantasy time. I really enjoyed it.
And that was?
So that's That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming.
Perfect. I love it when things are named after what they do, like blender. It blends. Toaster. Toasts.
Cinnamon. She farms cinnamon. Yeah. So, and that's actually a series. It's the Mead Mishap series by Kimberly Lemming. The first one is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. The second one is That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a love potion at a werewolf. And then the third one is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a human from the perspective of a demon. So,
man, and we thought we had Fall Out Boy level titles.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good. And like by the end of the third book, you have like this ragtag team of this cast of characters who are kind of a found family, and so it just sort of like each book kind of builds on the last one with the cozy vibes, and so I just really loved it. Yeah, I think it's an ongoing series. I think she's still writing them, but those are the 3 that are out right now. So
fun.
Recommend if you like cozy fantasy romance.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're actually kind of sticking with the romance here.
Oh,
I know. Twist of fate. My next book is Fred and Eddie by Jill Dawson. And so in December of 1922, Edith Thompson, a smart, bright, lower middle class woman who worked in a milliner's shop, was tried for conspiring with her young lover Frederick Bywaters to murder her husband Percy. The sensational trial, which took place in front of heaving crowds at the Old Bailey, unraveled a real-life drama as exciting as any blockbuster: an illicit love affair, a backstreet abortion, domestic violence, murder, and a double execution. Fred and Eddie draws together powerful threads between personal memory and public lives, between innocence and responsibility, and between fact and fiction. It is an exploration of a woman caught in the net of her own private fantasy and the conflicts of the era in which she lived, of her muddled attempt to defy convention and reshape her own destiny, and, finally, of the devastation she left in her wake.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, based on a true story, this happened, I believe, in England.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing, it's actually written through the letters which Fred and Eddie, Frederick and Edith send to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's got that different
format.
I think so. It's got that different format, which I find really interesting. It keeps me like really into it because I'm like, you never know what's going to happen next when it's already something you were not expecting. So I think that's really intriguing. And yeah, like you kind of already know what the ending is when you start the book because of the back of the book. But like you just want to know how they get there. So it's really appealing in that sense. It just gives the vibe.
Yeah, yeah. And like that's my argument for like my toxic trait of reading the first sentence and the last sentence of
Yeah.
a book before I buy it.
I think it was intentional though. Like I feel like this was intentional. They want you to know that it ends with them both getting the death sentence with the double execution
Yeah.
because I think it was on purpose that
You're like, wait a
the
minute.
intrigue is how do they get there?
Yeah.
Yeah, this book, it's one that you would read wearing slippers and like sitting under a blanket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of those fall reads. That was Fred and Eddie by Jill Dawson.
Cool. I'm actually taking it in the spooky direction this time.
Oh.
We're just switching it up. We're
Do
just
tell.
like sending everyone off kilter. Like our first episode got cursed, and so we had to switch things up.
Gotta keep them guessing.
You've been doing the singing intros. Now I'm up in here with a spooky
I just
book.
like my spooky music. I was listening to a spooky lo-fi playlist during my study session earlier.
Love that for you.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
Well, my next book is a thriller called The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. And this book, when I was reading it, I was on a flight to Winnipeg. And so I was on the plane finishing this book. And I'm literally sitting there like audibly gasping, like flicking the pages on my Kindle so quickly, like just absolutely flying through it. And then it ended and I just went, and then I immediately whipped out, like I finished it as we were landing. So I immediately whipped out my phone to mark it as finished and immediately give it a 5 stars. It was really good. I loved it a lot. And it's just like perfect spooky season where it's like just creepy, crawly, and twisty enough without being too heavy and like overpoweringly so. Like there's heavy themes and stuff, obviously. It's a thriller, but like it's not
in your face.
Yeah, and it's not like the stuff that you read, if we're being honest. If we're being honest with what I'm trying to say. It's easier to get through, and like the language is written in such a way where you have no choice but to read it quick. It's a lot of really short sentences. And so like you're actually reading it really quickly. And you get perspective shifts and you have no idea which characters are lying to you, and it's kind of an unreliable narrator. And so it's just like a good time. So the description of The Housemaid is: every day, I clean the Winchesters' beautiful house top to bottom. I collect their daughter from school, and I cook a delicious meal for the whole family before heading up to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. I try to ignore how Nina makes a mess just to watch me clean it up, how she tells strange lies about her own daughter, and how her husband Andrew seems more broken every day. But as I look into Andrew's handsome brown eyes, so full of pain, it's hard not to imagine what it would be like to live Nina's life. The walk-in closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I only try on one of Nina's pristine white dresses once, just to see what it's like, but she soon finds out. And by the time I realize my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside, it's far too late. But I reassure myself, the Winchesters don't know who I really am. They don't know what I'm capable of. Exactly. Exactly. And that's why it's perfect for this season, because you don't know what's going on. Yep. And like there were several plot twists. They all took me out. Like I was not seeing anything coming. I was just flying through it. So anyways, really loved it. Highly recommend for a spooky season read if for anyone who even remotely likes thrillers.
Nice.
That was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden.
Perfect. I'm also going to have a thriller next. However, this one is in your face about it.
Okay. This
is Tender is the Flesh by
Oh my god.
Augustina Bezderrica. Because we all know how much Hannah loves that word.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Tell
Uh,
me about it. What's this book?
so, working at the local processing plant, Marcos is in the business of slaughtering humans, though no one calls them that anymore. His wife has left him, his father is sinking into dementia, and Marcos tries not to think too hard about how he makes a living. After all, it happens so quickly. First, it was reported that an infectious virus has made all animal meat poisonous to humans. Then governments initiated the transition. Now, eating human meat, special meat, is legal. Marcos tries to stick to numbers, consignments, processing. Then one day he's given a gift, a live specimen of the finest quality. Though he's aware that any form of personal contact is forbidden on pain of death, little by little he starts to treat her like a human being, and soon he becomes tortured by what has been lost and what might still be saved.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
If I didn't already know the things that occur in this book from the like just from everyone talking about it on Instagram, I probably would read it.
A lot occurs. A
Yeah,
lot
I know.
occurs.
I know.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I don't think I could have guessed the ending of this one, even if you paid me. I feel like it's a fall book because what other season are you going to read that in? First of all, come on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read it in October.
Yeah, that's a very much like a horror
Yeah,
read for sure.
exactly, exactly. It's just got all of the vibes of it. It's spooky, scary. It's got a lot of body horror aspects. Content warning, shopping list. Call it what you may.
Yeah, true. I know of a lot of dark romance girlies who use the content warnings as like a way to decide
Precisely.
whether or not they want to read it.
Yeah, that's my murder book. Body horror, you say. Sold.
Yeah, that's the draw.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that is Tender is the Flesh by Augustina
Ew.
Bezterrica. I whispered it. You didn't have to listen.
Whispering it is worse, and I did have to listen. It's in my headphones. I don't have a choice. Oh my god. I feel like if this podcast ever really does take off, I'm going to be getting so many harassing messages throwing the word flesh
It's
at
just
me.
the word flesh. People just text you
Yeah.
one word. They email you one word and it's flesh.
Yeah, I feel like this is what's going to happen. And like our numbers are slowly starting to creep up there too. So I'm like, now I'm scared. Everyone knows my weakness.
The word flesh.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely.
Great. So awesome. Now that my heebies are sufficiently GB'd, I'm gonna give you a mystery now.
Oh.
And this one's also a series. And you do have to read the whole trilogy in order to get the whole story. So this one is a little bit more of a commitment, but I think personally that it's very worth it. So it's called Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. And for this one, I am so very glad that I'm just going to read to you the description, because the first time that we tried to record this before it got cursed, the infamous cursed episode,
Yep.
I really did a horrible job of it. So I'm just going to read you the description. It says, Ellingham Academy is a famous private school in Vermont for the brightest thinkers, inventors, and artists. It was founded by Albert Ellingham, an early 20th century tycoon who wanted to make a wonderful place full of riddles, twisting pathways, and gardens. A place, he said, where learning is a game. Shortly after the school opened, his wife and daughter were kidnapped. The only real clue was a mocking riddle listing methods of murder signed with the frightening pseudonym Truly Devious. It became one of the great unsolved crimes of American history. True crime aficionado Stevie Bell is set to begin her first year at Ellingham Academy, and she has an ambitious plan. She will solve this cold case. That is, she will solve the case when she gets a grip on her demanding new school life and her housemates, the inventor, the novelist, the actor, the artist, and the jokester. But something strange is happening. Truly Devious makes a surprise return, and death revisits Ellingham Academy. The past has crawled out of its grave. Someone has gotten away with murder. The two interwoven mysteries of this first book in the Truly Devious series dovetail brilliantly, and Stevie Bell will continue her relentless quest for the murderers in books 2 and 3.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah. I actually really love
Intrigue.
Stevie's character. It's like one of the few that are like near and dear to my heart because she's kind of crunchy. Like she's kind of like rough around the edges and like a bit hard to get to know, but she's also kind of odd and sort of just unabashedly herself. And she's just really fascinated by like cold cases and solving these mysteries for both morbid curiosity and for justice. And so she's just kind of a cool character. And you follow her and her new friends, sort of. Friends I use lightly at the school trying to solve these murders. And yeah, it's kind of twisty.
Nice.
And lots of turns, and you get like multiple perspectives, and like you actually are given, as the reader, you are given the evidence. You can kind of try to puzzle it out yourself as well. So it's kind of interesting in that way. And so that's just like it's a good spooky season read, a good mystery. I wouldn't quite call it cozy, but it's definitely a thinker. The whole series is essentially just one big riddle, and it's kind of interesting.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. So that's Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson.
Very fun. My next book is actually a little more chill. It's more contemporary. And it is The Best Kind of People by Zoe Whittall. So George Woodbury, an affable teacher and beloved husband and father, is arrested for sexual impropriety at a prestigious prep school. His wife, Joan, vaults between denial and rage as the community she loved turns on her. Their daughter, Sadie, a popular, overachieving high school senior, becomes a social pariah. Their son, Andrew, assists in his father's defense while wrestling with his own unhappy memories of his teen years. A local author tries to exploit their story, while an unlikely men's rights activist attempts to get Sadie on side their cause. With George locked up, how did the members of his family pick up the pieces and keep living their lives? How do they defend someone they love while wrestling with the possibility of his guilt?
Ooh. Okay. I love a family drama.
Yeah, so this one, I just imagine reading it this time of year. That's kind of my reasoning for all of these books, to be honest. And also, like, I feel like part of it might be because George, the father, is a teacher, and like I associate school with September, so that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, back to school, teacher vibes.
Yeah, exactly. So I just imagine all of it taking place in the fall. It's also kind of a slippers and blanket type of book.
Yeah, cozy up, read a mystery.
Exactly.
Intrigue.
What happened? High emotions, intrigue, did he do it? Etc., etc. Yeah, so that is The Best Kind of People by Zoe Whittall.
Cool. So just like super quick side note, if anyone can hear like something bubbling in the background, it's because my dad is cooking right now. And so we're just going to pretend that that's like a bubbling cauldron in the background. Okay?
Oh, yeah, it's a potion. No more questions.
I'm brewing a potion over here.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering
it's spooky season.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to give you my next book now. This is another cozy fantasy, less romance, but still all the vibes. So this book is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. And this was actually a recent read for me. I really loved it. This was another 5 stars. I think my only 5 stars this year were The Housemaid, this, and The Bride by Ali Hazelwood.
Nice.
Which is another good one for spooky season if you like werewolf vampire romances. Anyways, that aside.
Honorable mention.
Yeah. Legends and Lattes, the description is: Worn out after decades of packing steel and raising hell, Viv the Orc Barbarian cashes out of the warrior's life with one final score. A forgotten legend, a fabled artifact, and an unreasonable amount of hope lead her to the streets of Thune, where she plans to open the first coffee shop the city has ever seen. However, her dreams of a fresh start, pulling shots instead of swinging swords, are hardly a sure bet. Old frenemies and Thune's shady underbelly may just upset her plans. To finally build something that will last, Viv will need some new partners and a different kind of resolve. And then there's like a little tagline at the bottom that says, a hot cup of fantasy slice of life with a dollop of romantic froth.
That's cute as hell.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cute.
Whoa.
Yeah, and the cover's just super cute, and there's just like, oh, the characters are just so lovable, and this book is literally like just a very fall, warm autumnal hug.
Oh.
And I loved it so much, and I highly recommend it. It's very well written. And it's just, yeah, it's about hope and friendship and community and like trying new things and reinventing yourself, and like it's just, yeah, a good cozy fall
What's not to
read,
love?
especially with the coffee.
Yeah.
Like the coffee shop, hello,
True.
it's adorable.
True.
All the baked goods.
Ooh.
So that's just, it's like super short and sweet for me to explain that, but yeah, it's really good. And I buddy read it with my cousin, same cousin that I just spent the weekend with and that I'm going to Denonville with tomorrow. And she also said she really loved it. So it is cousin approved.
Perfect. All right. I'm taking it as far away from where you were as physically possible.
Yeah, I was giving the safe, warm, cozy vibes, and you're just going to completely rip us out of it.
I'm going to annihilate the hell out of it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so my next one, it's like a little, I call it a novelette. It's, I don't know if that's the right term or not. It might be novella. It's 96 pages long, and it's called 100% Match by Patrick C. Harrison the Third.
Okay.
Yep.
The third.
And so the description is, Bart is 30. He is bald. He is overweight. He wears glasses. He is a fry cook. He hates cats and kids. Bart occasionally does very bad things. He is looking for his perfect match. He has done his research.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Is Bart a serial killer?
I'm not saying Bart's not a serial killer.
He's not a serial killer.
He's not a serial killer. He's also just a real weird guy. I would not recommend eating any food served by Bart. I'll put it that way.
Oh, good God, no. Oh, no.
And it's 96 pages long, and I've never been more disgusted reading something, and especially only in 96 pages. It made my shoulders scrunch physically, okay?
Ugh.
It gave me the scrunch. But incredible read for fall. If you want your Hubies to be GB'd, they will be all the way GB'd. So
maximum
fully
GB'd.
Yeah.
fully G'd.
Fully G'd. Okay. Like incomprehensible amount of G's to be heaved.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you really like that skin crawling feeling, highly recommend 100% Match. Patrick C. Harrison the Third. That was probably the, well, not spookiest, but straight up scariest thing I've read this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like a Halloween read.
Yeah. It's like absolutely disgusting.
Great.
Yeah.
With that ringing endorsement. I love what you're like, it's absolutely disgusting. Yeah.
You should read it. I think you'd like it. I think you'd hate it, and that's the point.
Yeah, it's giving fantasy readers who will literally go to their friend and be like, this book ripped my soul out and ruined my life and broke my heart into 1,000 tiny little pieces and I will never be the same again. You should totally read it.
Yeah. This is that, but with murder.
Yeah.
It made
Yeah.
me want to tear off my skin and eat it myself. Read
Oh
it.
my God.
Like, fuck.
Oh my God. Okay, well, that's definitely a good horror book then, if it
Yeah.
makes you feel that way.
Yeah.
Full
100%.
maximum jeebed.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, does that conclude the books that we have read?
I believe it does.
Okay, well then I'm going to take us into some TBR fall hopefuls.
Woo.
So, my first one is Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. So, I'm continuing on with the cozy fantasy vibes. I'm going to yank you back from 100% match. So, the description of that is all Raina and Chianthe want is to open a bookshop that serves tea. Worn wooden floors, plants on every table, firelight drifting between the rafters, all complemented by love and good company. Thing is, Raina works as one of the queen's private guards, and Chianthe is the most powerful mage in existence. Leaving their lives isn't so easy. But after an assassin takes Raina hostage, she decides she's thoroughly done risking her life for a self-centered queen. Meanwhile, Chianthe has been waiting for a chance to flee responsibility, all the better that her girlfriend is on board. Together, they settle in Tawny, a town nestled in the icy tundra of Dragon Country, and open the shop of their dreams. What follows is a cozy tale of mishaps, mysteries, and a murderous queen throwing the realm's biggest temper tantrum. In a story brimming with hurt/comfort and quiet fireside conversations, these two women will discover just what they mean to each other and the world.
Wow. You had me at Dragon Country.
Really? Dragons is what draws you in?
Yeah.
I didn't think you were a dragons person because if this, hold on, this is breaking news. I
It's
have so many
because
dragon books.
we played the How to Train Your Dragon suite in band in
Oh.
10th grade.
Oh my God, I remember that. That
Yeah.
flute solo was the worst.
I know, but the trombone solo, immaculate.
Oh my God, I
Oh,
hated
it
that
was the best
piece.
piece I was ever given.
Oh yeah, I guess we said that we became friends in English. We didn't mention that we were also in band and PE together.
Yeah, we had literally all but one class together, and that's
Yeah.
because she took French and they didn't make me take it because it wasn't mandatory in Alberta. So I
Yeah.
was gonna fail if they made me.
Yeah, so like we literally only spent 1 hour a day apart
Yep.
for like a whole school year.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And I played the flute, in case you couldn't tell. I actually play a whole bunch of things, but mainly the flute in band.
Yeah, I was a trombone girly, or as my band teacher liked to call me, the lead boner.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
tromboners.
yeah.
I was
us.
a flutie.
Tootie flutie.
I was a tromboner in the jazz band. I can play the trombone, so
I cannot play the flute.
just saying. Yeah, the flute's kind of crazy. So anyways, after that little aside, yeah, dragons.
Lore.
Dragon Country is where we end up. Yeah, that was a lore drop if there ever was
Yeah.
one. We were band kids, can you tell? If you want me to compound that really quickly and tell you that I was also a theater kid.
I was an AP art kid too.
But listen. I was not like an acting outgoing theater kid. I was like set design. So it was my job to like paint everything. I was the like in-house artist. So like I wasn't quite a theater kid that you're in the way that people are probably thinking.
That's so funny.
I think my greatest accomplishment in theater company was when I painted a 15-foot by 6-foot painting of a galaxy for The Curious Incident and The Dog in the Nighttime.
Hey, that was pretty fucking fire, dude.
Thank you. It took me like 30 hours.
Yeah.
But
Been there.
I did it.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, after that lore drop, yes, this book is set in Dragon Country, and boy do I have dragon books for you if you actually like dragons.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never read a dragon book, so cannot confirm.
Yeah, we'll have to try it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this one's just like cozy vibes. I just feel like I need that right now. Like I don't know. Tis the season for the cozy vibes, and it's like a cute sapphic romance of just like a couple of women building their lives together, and like it's just so wholesome and lovely. And I just like I like the vibes, and I love tea.
Oh, hell yeah. Of all varieties.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne.
Perfect. Well, I'll tell you what, I am not craving cozy. I'm craving spooky scary. So, all of the books that I'm wanting to read right now are freaky. So, after I finish like my quote unquote assigned reading for the pod, I'm diving headfirst into some blood and gore.
Yeah, and I also just want to make it clear to everyone that this is not exclusive to spooky season for Jess. Okay, this
No,
is
this
all
is an
year
all year
round.
thing. But I'm really
Yeah.
thriving in spooky season because then it's not odd.
Spooky season is your time to
Oh,
shine.
yeah, especially with literary works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me your first book on your TBR to be read.
My first book is The Impusium by Olga Torkazak. I hope I'm pronouncing Impusium right. It's Empusium. So,
Yeah,
Impusium.
seems
And
right.
it is a health resort horror story.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So you're already drawn in, are you not?
A little, yeah. Begrudgingly.
Yeah, I know.
Begrudgingly, yes.
I know. I know. September 1913.
Okay.
A young Pole suffering from tuberculosis arrives at Wilhelm Opitz's guest house for gentlemen in the village of Gerbersdorf, a health resort in the Silesian mountains. Every evening, the residents gather to imbibe the hallucinogenic local liqueur and debate the great issues of the day. Monarchy or democracy? Do evils exist? Are women born inferior? War or peace? Meanwhile, disturbing things are happening in the guest house and the surrounding hills. Someone, or something, seems to be watching, attempting to infiltrate this cloistered world. Little does the newcomer realize, as he tries to unravel both the truths within himself and the mystery of the sinister forces beyond, that they have already chosen their next target.
Dun dun dun.
Right? Like
Oh
that
my goodness.
just screams fall mystery to me.
I might actually read that with you.
You should. I did buy it, but it is on sale right now. So
Cool.
do with that what you will. And that is The Impusium by Olga Torkazak.
I was waiting for you to give a description of why you chose it, and then I realized that we've moved on to books we haven't read yet. So there's no way that we could do that.
No, it just feels like it fits.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Which isn't that different from my other descriptions. Everything's off vibes in this brain.
Yeah, we're living on vibes.
Which is great for a literary podcast, but I digress.
For me, it's literally so many thoughts in the form of random images and colors and sounds and pictures
That
constantly
sounds
flashing through my head at
exhausting.
all times. It's exhausting until like I experience the world in such a way that's just like so cool randomly one day because of it, and then
No,
I'm like,
fair.
oh, okay, well that's really cool. Because like there's constantly music in my head and it's all pictures and colors and fun times. So I think that's kind of cool. I can't focus to save my life, but it's real interesting in here.
Perfect description.
Yeah, can't remember anything either. It's like my mom has always described to me that her memory is like a filing cabinet where like she needs to recall something and she goes into her like filing system and pulls up what she needs, and I'm like, nah, mom, for me it's like a zero gravity abyss and I might be able to snatch something as it flies by, but that's the possibilities are low sometimes that I'm actually
I feel like
to do
I
it.
have a filing cabinet, but you remember episode 1 of The Office with the Jello and the stapler inside?
Yeah.
Both me and the filing cabinet are inside of the Jello.
Okay.
And so it's just really hard to get there, but I know where it all is.
Oh my god, that's such a perfect description. And you made it visual for me. So I like totally know what you mean instantly.
There we go. Communication.
That's great. And this is why we work together. And now we're co-hosting a podcast. Wow, what a time.
Yeah.
What an aside that was. Look at us. Yeah, I don't even know how we got onto that.
Anyway,
my next TBR book on my to be read for this fall is called Caught Dead-Handed by Carol J. Perry. And the description for that is: most folks associate the city of Salem, Massachusetts with witches, but for Lee Barrett, it's home. This October, she's returned to her hometown where her beloved Aunt Ibby still lives to interview for a job as a reporter at Witch TV. But the only opening is for a call-in psychic to host the late-night horror movies. It seems the previous host, Ariel Constellation, never saw her own murder coming. Lee reluctantly takes the job, but when she starts seeing real events in the obsidian ball she's using as a prop, she wonders if she might really have psychic abilities. To make things even spookier, it's starting to look like Ariel may have been an actual practicing witch, especially when Orion, the cat Lee and Aunt Ibby inherited from her, exhibits some strange powers of his own. With Halloween fast approaching, Lee must focus on unmasking a killer, or her career as a psychic may be very short-lived.
Ba, ba, ba.
Yeah, that's like, hello, Halloween, October, Salem, witches, psychics, cats.
Cats.
'Tis the damn season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
checks all the boxes.
it does. So
Perfect.
That's my second TBR book.
Exciting.
Caught Dead-Handed by Carol J. Perry.
Fun. Okay, my next TBR, my next to be read is The Moonflowers by Abigail Rosemarie, which is such a femme little name. Cute. So, Tig Costello has arrived in Daring, Kentucky, commissioned to paint a portrait honoring her grandfather Benjamin. His contributions to the rural Appalachian town and his unimpeachable war service has made him a local hero. But to Tig, he's a relative stranger. To find out more about him, Tig wants to talk to the person who knew her grandfather best, Eloise Price, the person who murdered him 50 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Still confined to a state institution, Eloise has a lifetime of stories to tell. She agrees to share them all. About herself, about Tig's enigmatic grandmother, and about the other brave and desperate women who passed through Benjamin's orbit. Most revealing of all is the truth about Whitmore Halls, the mansion on the hill that was home to triage, rescue, death, and one inevitable day that changed Eloise's life forever. As Tig begins to piece together the puzzle of her mysterious family tree, it sends her spiraling toward a confrontation with her own painful past and a reconciliation with all its heart-rending secrets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again with the family drama.
Yeah. But this one, it's got a little bit of murder involved. So
if there's murder, sign Jess up
exactly.
For the book. For the fictional murder.
To be clear.
We gotta be careful talking about your books because I feel like it would be so easy to out of context.
If anyone quoted me,
a little scary.
Scary. Yeah. Actually, I believe in the cursed episode, there was one point where I said that if I were to ever get murdered, I'd want it to be in the fall.
Oh my god, yeah, you did say that. And then I was quick to be like, okay, that is not an invitation. That is not an invitation.
But you know what? Still holds true. If ever it were to happen, it better be in spooky season. And you better not get caught because I want a BuzzFeed Unsolved episode.
How much time have you spent thinking about this? Like, I feel like you had that on log.
Only a little bit.
Anyways, my last TBR book is called Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Marer. And this book, like, I know a lot about it because I followed the author for a really long time because, like, she was one of the first people that I followed on Bookstagram. And I just really love her content and, like, I just like her. And so when the book actually was released, because she made videos for a long time about it before the book actually got published. So then when it actually got published, I ran out and bought it immediately. I have a first edition with the sprayed edges and everything.
Oh, sexy.
Yeah, it's got a purple cover with red sprayed edges, and then the first edition of the sequel that came out has a red cover with purple sprayed edges, and it makes my brain happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Anyways, so the description is: assistant wanted. Notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal, level-headed assistant for unspecified office duties, supporting staff for random mayhem, terror, and other dark things in general. Discretion a must. Excellent benefits. With ailing family to support, Evie Sage's employment status isn't just important, it's vital. So when a mishap with Renadon's most infamous villain results in a job offer, naturally she says yes. No job is perfect, of course, but even less so when you develop a teeny crush on your terrifying, temperamental, and undeniably hot boss. Don't find evil so attractive, Evie. But just when she's getting used to severed heads suspended from the ceiling and the odd squish of an errant eyeball beneath her heel, Evie suspects this dungeon has a huge rat, and not just the literal kind, because something rotten is growing in the kingdom of Renadon, and someone wants to take the villain and his entire nefarious empire out. Now Evie must not only resist drooling over her boss, but also figure out exactly who is sabotaging his work and ensure he makes them pay. After all, a good job is hard to find.
Oof.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a dark fairy tale kind of vibes.
Nice.
And yeah, and so it's just going to be like a fun fall read, and I'm excited about it. And it's got cute sprayed edges, so
yay. We love that.
So that's my last TBR book. I didn't make a very long TBR this year because I knew that I'd have like school reading and stuff. So it's just those 3.
Yeah. Felt.
Felt spiritually, yeah.
Yeah.
Bars.
And what was that one called again?
Oh, that was Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Marer.
My last TBR book is Dear Hannah by Zohe Stage. I don't know. Stage.
How's it spelled?
Well, it's spelled like stage, but his first name, I feel like, well, it's spelled Zoje, and I guarantee it's not Zoj. So I don't want to assume that stage is pronounced stage.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, apologies to Zohe. But Dear Hannah, without an H at the end. So
not the cool kind.
Exactly. For reference. Hannah is no stranger to dark thoughts. As a young child, she tried to murder her own mother. But that was more than 16 years ago, and extensive therapy and writing letters to your younger brother has since curbed those nasty tendencies. Now 24, Hannah is living an outwardly normal life of domestic content. Married to a real estate agent, Jacob, she's also stepmother to his teenage daughter, Joelle. They live in a beautiful home, and Hannah loves her career as a phlebotomist, a job perfectly suited to her occasional need to hurt people. For those that don't know, phlebotomist is a medical professional that deals with veins. So, a lot of blood in that field. But when Joelle begins to change in ways that don't suit Hannah's purposes, her carefully planned existence threatens to come apart. With life slipping out of her control, Hannah reverts to old habits, determined to manipulate the events and people around her. And the only thing worse than a baby sociopath is a fully grown one.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This one was in the first time we recorded it, and I remember because you had said Hannah is no stranger to dark thoughts, and I made a joke like, oh yeah, girl, like for sure. I'm definitely not. But then I also remembered what was coming, and then
and you just went, nope, don't identify with that.
Never mind. Just kidding. I retract my statement, and that's why I didn't make the joke again.
Yeah, so just another freaky, scary murder book. So seems like fall.
Yeah. Seems like
very
spooky
plainly
season for you.
Exactly. So yeah, Dear Hannah by Zohe Stage. That was my last one.
Wow. So there's all our recommended fall/spooky season reads and our respective TBRs. So for the books that we recommend, books that we've read, the first one was Murder at Pirates Cove by Josh Lanyon.
Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte.
That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming.
Fred and Eddie by Jill Dawson.
The Housemaid by Frida McFadden.
Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica.
Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson.
The Best Kind of People by Zoe Whittle,
Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry,
100% Match by Patrick C. Harrison III,
and then moving into the books on our TBRs, our fall hopefuls, we've got Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne,
The Impusium by Olga Torkazuk,
Caught Dead-Handed by Carol J. Perry,
The Moonflowers by Abigail Rose Murray,
and Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Marer.
and Dear Hannah by Zoe Stage.
Ah,
yay!
Woo! Those are our fall reads.
Yeah. If you have any great fall reads, please send them to us. Our TBRs are ever growing.
They're never long enough. And if
No.
you actually try any of these books that we recommended, or the ones that we are planning to read, and you have some thoughts, let us know. Send me an email.
Yeah. We love hearing people's thoughts on books. We will just chat straight up.
Yeah. I mean, like, even currently we've got the spooky readathon going on for Spooky Month. If you didn't see, we gave a little update last week. But yeah, we're reading through, and we've got a couple people who are actually reading along with us and sharing their thoughts with us, which is so cool and so much fun.
It's so cool. So if you would like to share your thoughts with us, highly encouraged. And yeah, we'll probably discuss your thoughts as well.
For the readathon, yeah.
Yeah, participation. Woo! So yeah, this will be coming out week 2 of the readathon. So we will have read Spookily Yours by Jennifer Chipman and Venko by Cherie Dimmeline. And then next week we will be checking in on Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. But how's the readathon treating you so far?
Oh yeah. I finished Spookily Yours. It's very, very good. I liked it a lot. It was a good vibe. Well, I'll get into my thoughts properly when we debrief. Yep. And then currently I'm trying to get through Venko. And as a mood reader, it's very difficult for me to specifically read one book at a time. And so I'm having a little bit of a struggle getting through it. It's a bit slow, but I just got the audiobook, so maybe that'll help.
There we go. Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I have finished Spookily Yours. I liked it more than I thought I would. I was pleasantly surprised. And I have also finished Venko. I agree that it was slow, but there were some parts that I did really enjoy from it. So I am excited to dive into those notes because y'all know how much I love taking notes.
How much we annotate, how much we highlight and tab.
Yep. And yeah, so far so good.
Cool.
So yeah, if you would like to share your thoughts, you can message us on Instagram or Threads at badlyannotedpod, or you can email us at badlyannotedpod@gmail.com. And if somehow you don't know where to stream us, first of all, questions because you've gotten this far, but second of all, you can find all of our links via the link in our Instagram bio. And with that, best regards, spooky wishes.
Sincerely, Jess and Hannah.